In the previous class, we have started with the third module. We have seen the Laplace's and Poisson's equations, right? And we have also seen the expression for the Laplacian in all the three coordinates, right? Expression for the Laplacian, that is del square V, which is nothing but the uh, it is second order partial differential equation, right? In all the three dimensions, that is in space. Okay, so we have applied it to the potential. Del square V is Laplacian of the potential V. But this Laplacian, it's a very common. It is also used in some other places like in image processing. You'll be learning it in your probably seventh semester. Kiran sir will be teaching you Laplacian as applied to image processing. So wherein again you will see the differentiation or the partial differentiation with respect to the three dimensions. That is with regards to the spatial dimensions. Okay, so here we are applying it to a scalar quantity, that is a potential del square V, that is Laplacian of the potential V. And we have also seen the uniqueness theorem, where we have seen that if the solution of Laplace equation, if it applies to the boundary conditions, then that solution is unique, even though it is second order differential equation. There are two solutions, and we found that both the solutions are equal. That means the solution is unique, right? So then next, today we will see some of the examples of the solution of Laplace's equation. One important application of this Laplace's equations and the solution of Laplace's equation is to find the capacitance. So find the capacitance. To find the capacitance, you know what is capacitance, right? What do you mean by capacitance in circuit theory, or yeah, what is capacitance? Capacitance is the ability to hold charges, right? It's the ability to hold or contain charges. So the equation for capacitance, in general, C is equal to Q divided by V, that is charge divided by potential. Yeah, it stores charges. So charge divided by potential will give you the capacitance. So using the Laplace equation, you can find the capacitance by finding the charges in a particular region divided by the potential difference. You get the capacitance. Okay, so there is actually a procedure to solve any problem which involves Laplace equation. There are different steps. Okay, we will see. The first step is to solve the Laplace equation. To solve the Laplace equation, what is Laplace's equation? Laplace equation is del square V is equal to 0, right? If you solve Laplace's equation, what value do you get? It is for solving for the value of V, right? We get the potential. You solve the Laplace equation using the method of integration, because del square V is double differentiation, right? You have to integrate it twice. If you integrate this particular equation twice, you get the value of V. Okay, you might get some constants. You have to take those constants. You have to obtain those values of constants, okay, as per the requirement. Then in the next step, once you get the V, determine the constants by applying boundary conditions given or known for the region. The solution obtained in the first step with constants obtained using the boundary conditions is a unique solution. So we will obtain the solution and determine what are the constants there. Okay, in the next step, yeah, once you solve the Laplace equation, you get the value of V, right? Once you get V, you can find E, that is E is equal to minus del V. E is equal to minus del V. Using this, you can find the value of E. Once you get E, that is electric field intensity, you can get electric flux density. For any homogeneous medium, electric flux density is equal to epsilon into E, right? From V, you are finding E, from E, you are finding D. That is electric flux density. Once you get this electric flux density, you consider the boundary. On the boundary or at the surface, the charge distribution rho s will be equal to dn, where dn is the normal component of D. Dn is normal component of D, that you will take as the surface charge density rho s. Okay, so this rho s, if you integrate with respect to the surface, you get the charge, right? Charge density, integration of this charge density with respect to the surface, this will give you the charge q. Q is equal to integration of rho s into ds over the surface. So once you get D, you can find C by using C is equal to Q divided by V, right? Where V is the potential. C is equal to Q divided by V. Using that, you can find the capacitance C. So this is the steps which, if you follow, you can obtain the capacitance. First we will obtain the potential, then we will obtain the electric field intensity, then we will obtain the charge. Okay, before that we will obtain the surface charge distribution, then we will obtain the charge induced, then we will obtain the capacitance. So there are different types of capacitors. First, we will see a parallel plate capacitor. Okay, so before we begin, we have already seen or we already know the capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor. Can anyone tell me what is the capacitance, the equation for capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor? Might have studied in your network theory or elsewhere. Can anyone give me the formula for capacitance of a parallel plate capacitor? Please reply. If the area of the plates is A and the distance between them is D, okay, what is the capacitance? Yeah, epsilon A by D. C is equal to epsilon A by D, right? Where epsilon is the permittivity of the medium in between the two plates, right? So the same thing we are going to derive here using Laplace's equation, okay? We're going to derive using Laplace's equation. First, we will consider a parallel plate capacitor with two metal plates, okay, each having area A square meters and which are separated by a distance of D meters. Okay, so like this, let us assume that the plates are along the XY plane. Okay, plates are aligned along the XY plane, where this is X direction, which is coming out of the screen. This is Y and this is Z. Let area of each plate be A meter square and the distance between them is D meters. Okay, so then assume that the plates are placed parallel to XY plane as shown in this. Okay, then assume that the space between the two plates, okay, that the space between the two plates is filled with dielectric having permittivity epsilon. Okay, that the permittivity of the medium or the dielectric, dielectric is an insulator which has permittivity epsilon that is there in between the two plates. Okay, then let us also assume that the lower plate, which is at z is equal to 0, that means it is on the xy plane, okay, on the xy axis itself, that is z is equal to 0. Let that be grounded. Let that plate be grounded. Grounded means the potential at that particular plate is 0. That is V is equal to 0 at Z is equal to 0. Okay, so this plate is held at 0 potential. Then there is another plate which is parallel to this, that is at Z is equal to D. Okay, at Z is equal to D. Let the potential of this be V naught. Okay, let the potential of this be V naught. That is V is equal to V naught at Z is equal to D. Okay, so V naught is some value of the potential, some value, it can be anything. So we will assume that it is V naught. So next, the region between the two plates, it is filled with dielectric. It is filled with dielectric means it is free of charges. There are no charges, right? Therefore, it satisfies Laplace's equation. The actual Poisson's equation is del square V is equal to minus rho V divided by epsilon. That is, rho V is the charge density. If it is free of charges, then this will be 0. That is, it satisfies Laplace's equation. The same thing holds good for the region between the two plates, which is free of charges, right? Because it is a dielectric, there are no charges. Therefore, it satisfies the Laplace equation. And what is the Laplace's equation? It is del square V is equal to 0, right? Now, the first task or the first step in finding the solution for Laplace equation is to get the value of V. That is to solve this Laplace's equation. To solve this, we have to integrate this. Now we have taken this as rectangular coordinate system. What is the value of del square V in rectangular coordinates? In rectangular coordinates, del square V is dou square V by dou x square plus dou square V by dou y square plus dou square V by dou z square. That is equal to 0. Right? Now, since V, V is 0 at z is equal to 0 and V is V naught at z is equal to D. That means V is varying only with respect to z, not with respect to x or y, right? That means differentiation of V with respect to x or with respect to y is 0. Now what is existing is only differentiation of V with respect to z. Okay, so that's why what we say is V is a function of z alone. Because we have this statement, V is 0 at z is equal to 0 and V is V naught at z is equal to D. V is not changing with respect to x and y. That means Dou square v by dou x square is 0. Similarly, dou square v by dou y square is 0. But there is something existing at dou square v by dou z square. So only dou v by dou z exists. That means dou v by dou x and dou v by dou y do not exist. So you can just eliminate this and rewrite the same equation as dou square v by dou x square is equal to 0. Now, how to solve this? You have to integrate this. You have to integrate this. Once if you integrate this, so what this actually is, dou square v by dou z square is dou by dou z of dou v by dou z, right? Dou by dou z of dou v by dou z, and that is equal to 0. If you integrate this, you take this as equation number 2. If you integrate this with respect to z, what do you get? Integration and differentiation gets cancelled out, right? But one differentiation remains, that is dou v by dou z. That is equal to integration of 0 is 0 plus constant, right? Plus constant. The constant you can take as C1. Okay, constant here you can take as C1. What you get is dou v by dou z is equal to C1. Now again you have to integrate. Now there is differentiation here. Again you integrate with respect to z. If you again integrate with respect to z, integration and differentiation, that will be v. Integration of C1 with respect to z is C1 multiplied by z plus another constant. You can take a constant as C2. Okay, why we are taking constants? Because it is indefinite integrals, right? So there are no limits to this, so we have to consider the constants, C1z plus C2. So now you apply the boundary conditions. So what are the boundary conditions? Z is equal to 0 and Z is equal to D. At Z is equal to 0, we have V is equal to 0. At Z is equal to D, we have V is equal to V0. Okay, so first we take Z is equal to 0, that V is equal to 0, that is potential is 0. So if we apply this, V is equal to 0, Z is equal to 0. What is this term is 0, this term is 0, then what is C2? C2 will be equal to 0. So you determined one constant, right? So if you apply this boundary condition, you get C2 equal to 0. Okay, so using this value of C2 in equation number 4, what do you get? If you put C2 is 0 here, what remains is only V is equal to C1 into Z. V is equal to C1 into Z. Now you take another boundary condition, that is V is equal to V0 at Z is equal to D, right? V is equal to V0 at Z is equal to D. So if you substitute that, V will be V0 and Z will be D. So you get V0 is C1 into D, right? V0 will be equal to C1 into D. So from this, if you rearrange, you will get the value of C1. So what is C1 from this? C1 is V0 divided by D. Okay, so you have got the value of C2 as 0 and C1 as V0 divided by D. If you substitute this in equation number 4, C1 is V0 divided by D, C2 is 0. So what do you get? You get the expression for V, right? V will be equal to V0 divided by D into Z plus 0. That 0 you can leave. V0 into Z divided by D. Okay, this is the equation for the potential at any point between the two plates of a parallel plate capacitance. Okay, so this V is actually the potential at any point between the two plates of a parallel plate capacitor, where V0 is the potential at the upper plate, that is at Z is equal to D, and Z is the distance, okay, where you're actually finding the potential, and D is the separation between the two plates. Okay, so first step is over. That means second step is also over actually. That is, you have found the value of C1 and C2 and you have substituted it here. And this solution, whatever you're getting for V, it is unique based on uniqueness theorem. Now, once you have got this V, you can find the value of E, that is electric field intensity. What is electric field intensity? Electric field intensity is minus del V, that is negative potential gradient, right? So it is negative potential gradient. You know, as you know, the equation of minus del V in rectangular coordinates, right? In rectangular coordinates, you have dou V by dou Z, dou V by dou X into AX plus dou V by dou Y into AY plus dou V by dou Z into AZ. Now again, you know that here V is a function of Z only. That is dou V by dou X and dou V by dou Y is 0. That's why we will retain only dou V by dou Z. Okay, so del V is nothing but dou V by dou Z into AZ. Because dou V by dou X and dou V by dou Y are 0, we are not including that in our equation. Okay, so dou V by dou Z into AZ. So you have to differentiate V partially with respect to Z. What is V? We substitute this V0 into Z divided by D. Okay, so it is dou by dou Z of minus dou by dou Z of V0 into Z divided by D with respect to Z. So what is the differentiation of this? It is nothing but V naught divided by D, right? Differentiation of V naught Z by D is V naught by D. So it is minus V naught by D AZ. This is the value of electric field intensity. Electric field intensity in between the two plates. Okay. From this E, we are supposed to get the value of D, that is electric flux density, right? Now, electric flux density is given by D, that is epsilon into E, right? It is epsilon into E. So multiply this epsilon with this E. E is minus V naught by D into AZ. Multiply this by epsilon, where this is D. This is electric flux density. Okay. So what is the normal component of this? The normal component you have to find. The normal component is nothing but the magnitude of this. What is the magnitude of this? It is just epsilon V naught divided by D. Okay, so this is the normal component, that is epsilon V naught divided by D. Then what we have to do, the normal component of D, we have to equate it to the surface charge density rho s. Okay, the normal component of D is nothing but the surface charge density rho s. So rho s is equal to epsilon into V naught divided by D, right? So this is a step. So once you get surface charge density, you can get the charge enclosed within the surface, right? Once you get this rho s, you can get the charge, that is Q, is rho s multiplied by area. Okay, so rho s multiplied by the area. Here the area of the plate is A, right? So rho s into A, rho s is epsilon V naught divided by D, multiplied by area of the plate A. So this is the charge Q. Okay, epsilon V naught divided by D into A, that is epsilon V naught A divided by D. Once you get the charge, you can find the capacitance by using C is equal to Q divided by V. So what is Q? Epsilon V naught A divided by D. And what is this V? Here V you have to use, that is the potential difference between the two plates. Okay, the upper plate is at a potential V naught, the lower plate is at a potential potential 0. So what is the difference between the potentials? It is V naught minus 0. Okay, difference between the potential is V naught minus 0, right? This is at the potential V naught, lower one is at the potential 0. So the difference, potential difference is V naught minus 0, that is V naught. Okay, so do not get confused and use the equation for the V. Okay, you have to use the, here potential is the potential difference between the two plates. Okay, whereas the potential V, what you found here, whatever the equation you have found, that potential is the potential at a point which is at a distance in between the two plates. This is different. But what you are using in capacitance equation V, that is the potential difference between the two plates. So it has to be V naught. One plate is at V naught, other plate is at 0. So the potential difference between the two plates is V naught. So what do you get? This epsilon V naught A divided by D divided by V naught. So V naught and V naught gets cancelled out. So what remains is C is equal to epsilon A divided by D, right? So this is the value of capacitance and the units is farads. Okay, so this is a way. So we have got the same thing, whatever you knew, right? So that, you know, you use some different method, or maybe you have not derived the expression, that you have just assumed it. The capacitance is epsilon A divided by D. How do you get this? It is based on this. Okay, so we start with the Laplace equation. Okay, solve that Laplace equation, you get the value of V. Once you get V, that is potential, you obtain electric field intensity E. E is equal to minus del V. From E you obtain D. Okay, from E you obtain D, that is electric flux density. Find the magnitude of that D, that will be equal to Dn. That Dn you equate it to rho s, multiply rho s with area, you get the charge. Charge divided by the potential difference will give you the capacitance. Okay, so this is the exact procedure, a very simple procedure, but very important from the point of view of examination also. Okay, so here you got the capacitance of parallel plate capacitor, but the capacitance may be of different types. You know, you might have a cylindrical capacitor or a coaxial cable capacitor, or sometimes a spherical capacitor, right? There are different types of capacitances. So you can apply the same principle there to obtain the capacitance of different types of capacitors. Okay, so we have it in the syllabus again, that is coaxial cable capacitance and spherical capacitance. We can try to do that. Otherwise, I will solve that in the next class. Okay, so we will see how to get the capacitance of a coaxial cable capacitor as well as spherical capacitor using Laplace's equation. Okay, so that's all for today. I'll continue in the next class.